Alright, here's a review of another excrement from Microsoft. This time it's not Windows 8 but a game. In short, they decided to take a year 99 game, degrade the graphics even further than they were before, and re-release the game. The game, as you've probably figured out by now, is Age of Empires 2. In its time the game was very popular and is still very known today. I'm not a huge fan of such strategy games, so I never really played it much, and the last time I played it was about 8 years ago, so I'll probably look like a total noob in this review, even though it doesn't matter because I'll be focusing on the graphics rather than the game itself, as it's a re-release of a game supported by enhanced graphics. When we get into the menu, we already realize that we've been fucked over. They didn't even bother to change anything and created a menu identical to the original game. Here's the comparison. The process of game creation looks the same. The only real change that we can increase the size of our army by 2.5 times to 500 population as opposed to 200 like before. I decided to play as Korean against Koreans. I think it will look actual at the moment. I decided to have no fog of war so we can take a look at the graphics all over the map. So we start off in the first age. We'll live in a fucking shit-stained shed and have nothing, even though 20 meters away there's a gold mine, forests, rich waters and other convenience, just like it was in the Soviet Union. Even though it's an early age, it doesn't matter as no one really lasts until the final stage anyway, especially if you play 1 versus 1. Most players just build a minimal army and attempt to attack. We begin by sending off our slaves to gather resources. Those are lumber, food, stones, and gold. As we progress, we begin to build more shit-stained sheds and farms and so on, and our yokel village grows. You're always in shortage of resources as it takes a lot of time to gather them, so be prepared to stare for hours at some Kim Jong-il chopping down a tree. Later on you'll buy upgrades, build an army and defeat the enemy. Then you'll realize that you've just wasted hours of your life into nothing as the progress here isn't saved anywhere. Then the game will end. Now about the graphics themselves. In general the graphics here weren't improved but ruined. The only seen improvements are that you can choose a better screen resolution and the support of 2 or more monitors. This can be done in a couple of minutes in some patch and doesn't deserve any kind of respect. On the water we can see a few ugly waves. That's about it. Everything else is just how it was 15 years ago. The terrain textures are not improved at all. Just the same shitty sand and grass and ridiculously ugly way of them blending in. No new animation. All units and animals move around as stupid as before. It looks as if they're not actually walking on the land, but hovering over them like a hovercraft, and swing their legs in the air while doing so. Even though the game is 3D, it looks like it's indeed 2D. Let's take a look at anything. How about these trees? We move our camera around and we can't see them from a different side, because they don't actually have a 3D model and they look like sprites. So there are about 3 models of trees and about 3 sides you can see these trees from. You can't just take this tree and spin it around 360 degrees in a model editor. You can just see it from 3 sides, changing every, let's say, 120 degrees. It's identical to everything else in this game. Buildings, other plants like cactuses, gold mines, etc. Each model has more or less sides. Even the most important thing, the units themselves are made like this. But of course they have more size than trees, so they switch their look every 30 degrees on a 360 degree spin. However, in the end, they do not have an appropriate 3D model, and yet they want to sell this as an HD version of the game. Let's look at the animation of these flying fish. It's a crappy animation which consists of about 5 frames and is looped. That's about it. Look at the animals. What the hell are they doing? They're just staring at the ground and are eating sand like this crazy ass moose. Look at how the terrains look here. What is this, a mountain, a hole in the ground, a rock, or what? Or maybe this wolf laid a massive shit and is standing around guarding it. Well, I assume you already realize this is a fucking scam and not an HD version of the game. It's just an excrement. Barely anything is improved, and what is improved can be done in 10 minutes. Even if they corrected a few textures, I assure you, any of you could do so yourself. All you need to do is convert the texture files into a format suitable for Photoshop. Make your changes, convert it back and place it in the root directory. Anybody with a lot of time on their hands is capable of doing this. That's why texture packs are almost always given out for free. It seems though Bill Gates decided to build himself another penthouse and he released this. For serious, take a look at the new and the old game. They're identical. The old even feels better to me. Yeah, the resolution is bad, but that's about it. They haven't even tried to get rid of this shitty bug that when you move your camera around the map, it looks as if your frames per second have dropped. And of course it has nothing to do with my computer, but it's the developer's fault. In the end, I finally built a shitty-ass noob army and decided to attack my enemy, the South Korean, which couldn't mobilize because I seemed to have put his difficulty to easy. Or maybe he simply decided to grow corn everywhere, as did Khrushchev when he returned from USSR to USA. I began attacking his main shed, which consisted of no more than one room and 2 ceilings without walls. However, 10 rednecks got into it and kicked my ass while I only took down the building by about 10%. That's it. I couldn't even get inside and kill everybody. I mean, there are no walls even, but they still killed me. Communism is lost forever. Well, the game itself certainly deserves attention, but to buy the HD remake is just as stupid as to throw $20 away. I don't even know what's a larger graphical scam. This, Hitman HD Collection, or Doom 3 BFG Edition. Better just download the original 15-year-old game from the torrent sites and the effect will be identical. In fact, I suggest you just get Warcraft 3 or Starcraft 2. These games are the best ones in their genre.